Welcome back, everybody, to the darkness that surrounds us, our Curse of Strahd playthrough. When last you were here, you had found yourselves in the dismal kingdom of Barovia, where you encountered a man by the name of Ismark, who begged upon you to help take his adoptive sister away from the city of Barovia, where she had been beseeched by the ruler of the area, a man by the name of Count Strahd von Zarevich. Finding yourselves all trapped here after performing an errand for the Duchess of Daggerford, you find yourselves locked away in this strange kingdom that is ruled by this vampire lord, so it would seem. You left the village of Barovia with Irina Kolanya traveling with you, and set off down the road, heading towards the walled city of the walled town of Valaki, where her brother had begged you take her. The local priest in Barovia had told you that he thought that the Abbey of St. Markovia in the town of Krezek would be a potential place where she could be kept safe. And Ismark, her brother, felt like perhaps safety could be found in the walled town of Valaki. On your way towards the walled town of Valaki, you encountered much trouble. One of our characters, Bagmo Kali? What is her last name? Bagmo.
I've heard it both ways.
Bagmo encountered the old woman selling dream pastries that you found sent people into a trance, becoming so desperate to escape the life that they had found themselves in here, even willing to sell their own children to the old woman. Bagmo stopped the trade and rescued said child, but found herself in the ire of the curse of the old woman. Now each night Bagmo has had restless, terrible dreams, unable to obtain any form of sleep or rest, and is growing more and more weary, having visions of a terrible sight, a giant wheel and windmill crushing bones and breaking down into powder, and horrible laughter and the smile like a Cheshire cat fading into the air. You found yourself recently surrounded by wolves, one of which morphed into the host of the land, Strahd von Zarevich, toying with you all for a while, but not taking Irina. He took his leave after proving your lack of worth, leaving you there wounded and bleeding, only to be able to rest up and recover slightly. As you head down the road, you found yourselves there. Bagmo, you had only just confessed the dreams that you had been having and the visions that had been destroying your nights and weakening you. You find yourselves there standing before the very windmill that you had seen in your dreams. And Urgoth recognized it as the same windmill that he saw on the hilt of the sword in the first home that you had encountered in this strange land. And I will take you there now. As I find it. You all are here at the crossroads, path that leads slightly onwards that you see in the distance, Bagmo, towards this windmill of your nightmares. And I will describe what you see. Allow me to turn the page slightly. The old Salvage Road. That was loud. The old Salvage Road transitions here from being a winding path through the mountains to a lazy trail that hugs the mountainside. It descends into a fog-filled valley, and in the heart of the valley you see a walled town near the shores of a great mountain lake. Its waters are dark and still. A branch in the road leads west to a promontory, atop which is perched a dilapidated stone windmill. Its warped wooden vanes are stripped bare, turning slightly in the wind. There's sort of a onion dome, a pointed dome that is a little more curved than in this picture, sort of onion-shaped, and it leans to one side as though trying to turn away from the storm gray sky. You see gray brick walls and dirt-covered windows on the upper floors. And there is
the tower tilting toward or away from the window?
Just sort of in poor repair. It's just sort of kind of like the top of it, the cap is just sort of kind of leaning a bit. There is a decrepit wooden platform that encircles the windmill above a flimsy doorway leading into the building's interior. So sort of this kind of like wooden ring around it is kind of a wooden platform on top of the door that is on sort of the first level there. And you see this in sort of the distance. What do you all do? Bergamo, have you, I don't recall from last time if you revealed all the details of the windmill revisions to everyone. You told them that your dreams had been wrecked and asked them to wake you from your slumbers should you show terror. Twice you were awoken, but your night still disturbed, and sleep fails to refresh you.
I remember one friend who did not wake me, but let me sleep, tormented by nightmares.
Sleep fails to refresh you. What do you all do? You're muted, Amy.
I'm wondering where we're trying to go. I mean, we're trying to take Ileana to safety.
Yep, you were heading towards the town of Valaki, which you can actually see from where you're at.
If I were at...
I see Valaki. It's just ahead.
If I were in tip-top shape, I'd take on that windmill right now.
Sorry?
Get
on the windmill?
Get rid of those horrible witches or whatever they are.
Have you told them your dreams of the windmill? They don't know this.
That's where they make the pies out of children.
Bogmo, or are you okay? Are you feeling all right?
Oh no, I'm not feeling all right at all. But they do make pies out of children there.
At the windmill?
Yes.
Bogmo, you had visions in your dream of children in cages inside of this building where the stone was grinding what looked like bones into powder.
You saying they're doing this now?
Quite possibly, but I am one stub toe away from dying, and I have no spell slots, so...
Did we not level up when did we not get refill when we hit the level up?
Yeah, you gain your hit points back that you gained upon the level.
But it doesn't reset like it does in computer games.
Computer games.
So I am a kind,
because that's the way I thought it worked
So
too.
I'm actually a kind and benevolent DM, and I allow you to gain the hit points that you would gain with the level every time you level up. Some DMs require a long rest to actually level up. They would say, well, you've leveled up, but you don't get anything until you take a long rest.
Well, I didn't even get touched in the last battle, so I'm at full, but you know, it's not really even saying that much. I'm more concerned for my compatriots and whether or not we need to stop this child bone bakery from existing, even if Bagmo's not up to it. I trust her, but she is acting buggy.
So, Bergamo, in my experience, dreams are often sort of metaphorical. And just looking at that windmill, it doesn't look like it has been grinding anything in a very long time, much less the bones of
Aye.
children.
Those
The
big old
windmill
gears.
is turning.
So,
Damn
I think that it is definitely
The windmill
spooky.
is turning.
It is definitely spooky, and there's definitely something like about it that we need to investigate. But I'm not sure that I buy that it is actively right now. And I sort of put my hand to my ears and I say, and I don't hear screaming children coming. Like I don't hear the sounds of distress.
Make me a
So-
perception check.
Oh, maybe I do.
Bogamo is thinking these are all pretty words from a drug addict who tried to eat those pies.
You sure don't hear anything, Ergo.
Yeah, no. So
Ergoth, do you still have your bird friend?
I do.
He did.
Might your bird friend?
What was that?
Might your bird friend do some reconnaissance?
Yeah, I'll be happy to send my parakeet out.
He alive? I thought we had to trade his life or something.
No, I declined to do that
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
because I'm not a monster.
Can you talk to the parakeet?
Yes.
So you're able to speak with animals.
Well, okay, I can talk at the parakeet.
Okay. So you send the
Parakeets
parakeet
know a
out.
lot of words.
Yeah. So no, that's a good that's a good point. Although
Have you trained the parakeet to talk?
Yes. No, I have. Yes, I have. But like talking and understanding, I feel like this is at the DM's discretion. So the parakeet can talk. That's a part of what I was training it for its owner.
Okay. How about this? Roll me an animal handling. You're going to send the parakeet out. Roll me an animal handling check. It's going to have to be really good for you to get information.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yes, that's a go roll.
That's pretty good.
You send the parakeet out, and the parakeet circles around, and it comes back to you, and it lands on your shoulder, and I think it says,
Hi.
I think it says
Run.
warning.
Okay,
Or
so
yeah, no, it says no. I think it's I think it says run.
okay, so right quick, how do we want to like just
Keep
from
away.
from a lore perspective? So the parakeet, in theory, should only be able to, I think, to repeat what it's heard.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because I don't think he's smart
Okay.
enough necessarily to
Okay,
like.
okay. Yeah. The parakeet can repeat what it's heard, and it says,
Run.
"Run away." Actually, know what it says? Here's what it says. It says, "Raven, Raven, Raven. Warning. Stay away."
Hmm. Okay, so apparently somebody's telling ravens to stay away. That clearly doesn't apply to us, so we should be fine.
We're not birds.
We're not birds. And I just jovially pat the parakeet on the head and put him back in his silver cage.
Raven.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we sure about the interpretation?
I am willing to let the party sort of to come to a consensus on that. I claim no right of ownership over that parsing.
We can see the town that we're trying to get to. Why not press on, regain our strength, and come back if this place is as awful and dangerous and
Well, what if we go into the windmill and Bagamo just sees an empty mill full of flour sacks? That may put her mind at rest.
Now, did you tell the Raven to try to fly into the building or something?
Well, it's a parakeet.
Yeah.
Or the parakeet. Did you tell it to try to fly into the like go inside?
So it
just circled.
My eyes light up, and then I say, I could try telling the parakeet to attempt to go inside. Some of the windows look a little bit sketchy. Maybe the parakeet could go in and at least tell us if anything's in there. Because if you repeat something, then we know something's in there.
Well, you already repeated something.
Right. But that was on the outside.
I'm giving it a little bit more than repetition because there is a... Well, you won't figure it out unless you get closer.
Yeah.
Bert Beasley really sees this as an opportunity. This land is really ripe for new insurance business. But the idea of children meat pies, that's really difficult to ensure. A business that makes children meat pies. So he definitely would like to go and see what's in there, and if it's children meat pies, put a stop to it, because that's just bad for the bottom line of Gorkin Sons.
Even the potential future bottom line doesn't involve directly putting our ward in harm's way while we investigate the whims of someone who hasn't slept in days.
Bert, I'll bet they took out life insurance policies on every one of those children.
Wow. And that would be fraud.
That would be fraud.
That would most certainly be. Absolutely.
Okay, guys.
You're going closer?
Let's do it.
All right.
Can you let me know when we get within approximately 60 feet?
You're within 60 feet.
Perfect.
And let me read some text too. As you're there, 60 feet outside of it, you can now, the windmill is turning despite its being sort of weather worn. As you get closer, perched on a wooden beam above the door is a raven, and it hops about and squawks at you, seemingly agitated.
I'm going to take a shot at that raven.
Wow. Can Bert Beasley, before you shoot at him, Bert Beasley's like, wait, and I'd like to use my divine sense to detect good and evil.
Roll me an insight check, Bert Beasley.
Can a raven be good?
A middling roll.
What'd you roll?
An 11.
Yeah, that'll do it. It was DC 10. Detect good and evil, Bert. What does that detect?
I'm just gonna paste it.
It just takes alignment.
There you go.
I think it detects undead.
Celestial fiend, undead. Oh, good question. Hang on, let me check.
I mean, would being inside the windmill be total cover?
Well, there's windows.
You detect okay, Bert. You detect evil. Strong evil. You detect fiend evil. Wow. With your spell, definite fiend. And
Can I kill the Raven before he snitches on us?
no, hang on. Here's what happens. And Bert, with your insight check, the Raven seems to be trying to warn you.
Well, Bert
And
Beasley.
And Bert, as soon as you sort of like look at it and have that insight, the Raven takes off into the sky, and it flies towards the city, or the city. I guess we'll call it a city. In the distance that you saw over the horizon.
Follows it with his hand crossbow and just says, "You guys feel like we're making this weirder than we have to?"
Are you shooting at the Raven?
No, I just follow it.
The Raven seems to be trying to provide a warning of some sort.
Bert Beasley, he says, there's certainly something evil in there, and it's more than just insurance fraud.
I wonder if we could hire some assistance in Milwaukee.
Do you want to turn back at this point? Perhaps we could
think
send.
that we need supplies and a plan.
Perhaps we could send Nico to sneak ahead, and perhaps he can see what's in the window. So that way, if we do want to go back and hire,
could definitely have Nico sneak in there, or sneak up there.
Since we're boy, are you okay sneaking in there? This is just the type of place where you might get ground up into bread.
There is not an obvious window on the first level. There are windows on the second level, and windows on what looks like a third level.
He's a spry young man. He can just clamber up it. And he feels bad that he's just been just hanging out at the mall, not doing a lot with his life, and he sees this as a chance to maybe do something.
All right, roll
Their
me.
new eye makeup is awesome though, really brutal.
All right, roll me a stealth check as Nico approaches the tower.
Nico's like he's pretty stealthy. That was a bad roll.
It doesn't take much here. It's not a high DC because no one's paying attention to.
Not with that.
Okay, but you're not the quietest. I'm going to put it that way. Now I need an athletics check to climb up onto the rickety wooden platform above the door.
Any chance Nico, can be a little more acrobatic about it than just pure athleticism.
Acrobatics will work here too.
He does like a little hop and skip.
Without any difficulty, you're up there. But again, your stealth, you're not the absolute quietest.
But an aesthetically pleasing leap.
But you are able to scoot around, Nico, to one of the dirt-covered windows. And Nico peers through. And what you see is the dirt cake windows allow very little light to enter what looks like about an 8-foot wide, maybe larger chamber, most of which is taken up by a very large millstone connected to a gear shaft that rises through the ceiling in the center of the room. There's a stone staircase that comes from the bottom and continues up towards the top. And inside there, you see what looks like a haggard, heavy-set old woman with this terribly wrinkled face, as wrinkled as a boiled apple, sweeping the floor and pushing around some stuff and kicking up dust. She has an apron on that appears stained, and she's got her hair up in gray hair up in like a bob or something.
Does he recognize her as the same woman who was selling pies in town?
Ooh.
Roll me perception. look similar, but you're looking through dirt-caked windows, and it is hard to be certain. There is something slightly different about her, but maybe
Nico
similar
is,
stature.
he's seen enough, and he's going to attempt to slink away and report back on all that he has seen.
Roll me another stealth check. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty stealthy.
Okay. Yep, you're able to make it back with that information. You did make a little bit of noise coming up, but that was before you made your climb. That was your more important check. Was the climb and the stealth to get away.
Nico comes over and he says, "That place is not bussin'. No
Not
cap.
bussin'.
Yeah, not bussin'. I think that's what they say.
That place is not bussin'.
That place is not bussin'. Never was.
Yeah.
Anti-bussin'.
And I think there's an old woman in there who I don't know if she's quite maybe like a sister of the old woman we saw stealing children and selling pies in the last town.
Did
You know, she
did it look like
it was
there
hard to
a big
tell.
room with weapons or anything like that?
No, it just kind of looks like a mill, you know, just this old woman who kind of looks, you know, pretty similar to the pie seller, you know, just in a big old mill.
I'm starting to think that this might not be a bad place to take over and maybe perhaps have a long rest. It's pretty well fortified. We can stop something terrible, and we might find out a little something more during our watches. But
I think we need more supplies.
Place to be than inside that windmill.
We're not prepared. It's a very evil place.
Bagman, you're not making any sense. You're delirious. This was your idea.
Now that we're closer,
Bagman, you gotta explain to the group why you feel this way. You've told them that you're not getting rest.
They're doing something to me at night. They're sending me visions of this place, and it's draining me.
Well, then we need to put an end to it so you can get some real rest. Also,
I agree,
what
but
if they're not here when we come back tomorrow? We're right here. The door is right there. We can walk in and take it for hours, stop what they're doing, and get some rest.
That's what they want me to do, and then they're gonna turn me into a pie. We need some I don't know. We need
What if
Dream pie?
Bert Beasley, you know, has seen a lot of buildings in his day that have been burned down, and he thinks this building, you know, it looks like it could go up. Could he do some kind of perhaps history check to see if it looks like a lot of buildings that were easily burnable from his days of insurance investigation?
Roll me history.
that's exactly what I wanted to do too.
Bert, the building is made, despite the appearances here, other than the outer ring, the top dome is also made out of stone. It appears to be entirely made out of stone.
Guys, and I think we're losing sight of the potential children inside that are
so
being
the building, hold on. The building is made out of stone. Bert Beasley knows that mills oftentimes contain very flammable powders, particularly flour and things like that, that certainly could cause explosive fire. But he's uncertain as to if how easy to ignite the actual physical structure would be simply by like holding a flame up to it. But if one were able to, if there is flour or wheat being milled into flour, that's certainly something that could be explosive and ignite.
We could try to burn them out, you know, and as they come out, just snatch them up, these old women.
Evil usually get amplified in fire, don't they?
No, I'm pretty sure that's why you burn witches. And I
You don't actually burn witches. You burn women that aren't witches.
and
Have you learned nothing?
and I light a little fireball in my hand using control or burning hands and say, "Give me the word."
I mean, you could, since you have the spell twice, you could have two burning hands.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true.
How far away are we from Balaki?
From Balaki, maybe the road kind of curves around. Maybe you could see it in the distance, a few miles. Half day's hike.
Well, Bagamo, do you think you'll make it another, 2
Y'all
days?
Y'all discuss. Hold tight, I need a drink.
Do you think you'll make it another 2 days? A day to get there, a day to rest, and, a day to get back.
How many more sleepless nights do you think you can tolerate, Bagamo?
I do not.
I don't know.
wanna
I
set
haven't
this
tried
building
drugs
on
yet.
fire. Why would we burn it down? How does that give us an advantage?
And so you just light it on fire, and they run out. Then you grab
and then
them.
they lose.
But then we still gotta fight them. And now we're out here in the big old world.
But we're fighting them. We're fighting them on our terms then.
What is our term? Is just a burning effigy to the drug game. I don't understand. How does this benefit us? We could use this strategically.
I mean,
Well,
it's just an old mill. Like,
We could sleep here.
Are we going to grind our own children? This is a
could sleep here
children grinding
tonight.
mill.
Yeah, I mean,
If
we could just
take it from these old women and
then-
find out what's going on in here,
And then
we
go
could
in,
sleep here
and then
tonight.
go into business for ourselves, making our own pastries.
Sleep.
I would rather sleep on the ground 100 times before I sleep in a child murder windmill.
yeah. Well, Rack, you just want this to turn it into a distillery. Just admit it.
It is close to a lot of good resources for that, but that's not the point.
It's just like an old mill.
All right.
All right, so we got two
I
options.
say that I'm
Do we
a part
want
of the
to?
party, and I will support the party's decision. I've made my case, and I don't know how to be any clearer because I'm just as bamboozled by all this as everybody else.
So we've got two options. We could try to light it on fire and smoke them out, and then lie in wait when they emerge. We can grab them, or we're all pretty beat up. Or we can go to town, drop off Irina. Yep, and maybe take a rest, and then hopefully Bagamo is not dead. Try again.
Irina looks over at you and she says, I am not a thing with which to be dropped. I am here in this as much as you are.
Well, what do you think then?
She says, she sort of looks somber and quietly and says, I fear for your life, Bagamo. I know not what is right. There is perhaps safety in town, but from what you tell me, if you are not able to stop this, it seems as if your life may be forfeit. I cannot make this decision for you.
Perhaps there's a cleric or someone in town who can help me. And we definitely need...
I know of Father Lucian Petrovich at the Church of St. Andros in Velakis.
Let's go to Velaki and see if there's someone who can help me and perhaps buy some supplies to assault this wretched windmill.
We have a debate. Bagmo begs to go to Velaki.
I'm with her. That's what I wanted to do from the beginning. I and I wipe the sweat from my brow, flick it. I'm ready to get the hell out of here, move towards an objective that we can complete.
Okay. Are you guys heading towards Falaki?
Mm-hmm.
Makimo,
I think
yes.
Ergoth and Bert and Nico have votes.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
Bert,
you all have votes.
Bert Beasley definitely wants to take down this windmill now, and he just really feels that, you know, he who hesitates is lost, and in this case, made into a pie, a child pie.
So Bert votes, and we're going to take a vote. Bert votes, go check out the windmill and put a stop to this. How does Ergoth vote?
I said from the very beginning, and this is not me right here in this moment, that Ergoth's gut feeling when encountering evil things is that they needed to be purified by fire and burned. As a matter of fact, he threatened to burn down that first house the first time he saw it.
Ergoth votes,
So
purge the evil.
I would be remiss if I changed tack now. So
Bogmo votes, go to Valaki. And Wetrock, you said you were with Bogmo.
Yep.
Go to Valaki. Okay, so we are at a tie.
Nico
How would
doesn't know what to do.
How would Nico vote?
He pulls out his fidget spinner, and he's gonna.
Do you want me to
flip it.
roll a D? Do you want to roll a
Is it
D20?
fidget spinner
No,
or is it a Zippo lighter that
He's just gonna
striking
pull
with
out
one hand?
He's just
on
gonna
his
pull out,
team.
you know, his fidget spinner, and he's gonna flip it.
All right, I tell you what,
I'm
Bogmo,
just
make
gonna-
your
I'm just
case.
gonna-
Make your case. See if you can flip anybody.
Well,
See
hold
if
on,
you're
hold
able
on.
to
Did
flip
we
Bert
find
Beasley.
out what happened with the fidget spinner?
Yeah, no, he wants to. He's actually gonna use it to determine how he's gonna vote. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna roll a d4 on a 1 or 2. He says we should go to the town, and on a 3 or 4, he supports trying to burn down this windmill. You know, sometimes Nico just feels you gotta let Lady Luck decide, and he actually has a tattoo of Lady Luck. So
Wet Rock
he says
his eyes are
he
closed
said we
and
should
he is
leave.
praying to whatever god he can think of right now. Just please let reason rule and let's get out of here.
Well, that's what happened.
So
Switch and spit.
a 1 is go to Valaki?
Yep.
Okay. You guys turn back towards the trail and start to leave this terrible place in the past behind you. You wind around the path, just sort of making your way,
Mm-hmm.
continuing on down the trail until you eventually come by nearer that lake that you were able to see in the distance. It's still quiet and you don't see very much activity, but there's a little clearing in the woods as you sort of wind around where you're able to sort of get a view of the lake. Nothing has molested you yet. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 miles. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3 miles. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've gone 5 miles. And you look like you're about halfway there, so it's about 10 miles total from where you're at to get to Valaki. You walk another several hours. You're able to probably walk, at least a mile an hour, that sort of walking pace. 2 to 3 miles an hour at a good clip, so it takes you most of the rest of the day. But eventually you reach the outskirts of a walled city. It's getting close to dark, almost night, and I'll describe what you see. There are there's a heavy iron gate. The road sort of meanders into a valley watched over by the mountains to the north on the other side of the lake, and the woods to the south. Eventually, the woods sort of recede, revealing a sullen mountain berg that is surrounded by a wooden palisade. Thick fog presses up against this wall, as though looking for a way inside, hoping to catch the town aslumber. The dirt road ends at a set of sturdy iron gates, with a pair of shadowy figures standing behind them. Planted in the ground and flanking the road on the outside of the gates are a half-dozen pikes. All of these pikes, they have wolves' heads impaled on them. As you approach the gates, the shadowy figures standing behind them say, "Stop! Who goes there?"
It's Bert Beasley of Gorkin Sons and Friends. We
An
have come from
envoy.
far.
Carrying the Princess Arena.
We seek the Burgermaster.
The Burgermaster. We must find him.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Do we really have to persuade him of the truth?
It's sort of close to dark or after dark,
Okay.
and the gates are locked. They sort of go. They go. The gates are sealed for the eve. What business have ye? You seek the Burgomaster.
All right. Persuasion it is.
Whoever it is, you're all sort of doing this together. Whoever's the best can roll it and can take advantage.
What was the roll?
Nico's
Persuasion.
plus 5.
I've got a bunch.
I do not have a bunch.
Well, I mean, that's good
the-
enough.
DC was a 20,
Ooh.
Mhm.
and
Old
yes,
Wet Rock still got it.
that is enough. Wet Rock. I think Wet Rock, you just give him a nip of hooch or something.
Yeah.
You
just hand it
up a
through the
bottle.
gate.
You guys look like you're well worked and deserving of a nip. Why don't you take some of my old homebrew? And I toss them up a flask that I've been carrying.
And they grab it, take a swig off of it, and eagerly let you enter the walled city of Villaki.
As
Now,
we walk
I'm-
away, I say, "Name's Wet Rock. If you like what you got there, let me know."
I'm gonna put you guys on the map here really quick. I'm just gonna put one person on the map to sort of signify that where you guys are sort of all together. Since Wet Rock did the persuasion, it's you, Wet Rock.
Oh boy,
I'm gonna shrink you down a bit to make you fit.
big lad.
You all are here. As you enter, it's getting towards late eve. The sun is setting and things are getting quiet about town. As you first enter, you see several homes that are sort of relatively quiet, no major activity going on about them. It's not immediately obvious. The guards, they don't really point you in any particular direction. They sort of let you in, take their hooch, and quietly go back about their business.
We need to find the Burgermaster. Master.
The first thing you see as you enter, as you're walking down the street, is a stockyard, actually. You pass by.
Different
sort
kind
of
of burger.
Yeah.
Sorry about
You're
that.
passing by a large stockyard with several locked sheds on its periphery, lying adjacent to a gloomy-looking warehouse with a sign above the gate that reads, Arasek Stockyard. At the south end of the stockyard is a sturdy carnival wagon. Its colorful paint is peeling off. Faded lettering on its side spells out the words Rictavio's Carnival of Wonders. There's a heavy padlock securing its back door.
How does everything have to look like it's been abandoned for years after everyone was murdered?
It's not abandoned, but there's a heavy padlock. Things are relatively quiet around town. Should probably change the audio from Woods to Town of Vallaki.
You need to find the burger. And it's not this kind of burger.
Now, that's very too active for this time of night. Very little chatter. It's kind of quiet. You hear some people talking about.
Is the burgomaster some kind of he's like the religious head honcho?
No, the burgomaster's like the mayor.
The mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So would it not be clear in this town where the mayor lives?
Yeah, some people might know. Probably. A lot of people would know.
There's not signs or anything that point you to the mayor's house, city hall, all that stuff.
No more than like in the city of Austin, is there a sign that's like mayor lives here?
Well, when I was living in Vicksburg, where I grew up, there was signs that showed where the mayor's house was. So that's a misconception that I have from my very sheltered and genteel youth. However, let's just look for the biggest house with like the most gaudy lighting at night, and that'll be where the mayor is.
As you start moving through the town itself, you notice that there are weather-worn garlands from what looks like some previous festival that are hung all about. Like little flags and things like that. They're like attached to various buildings. And you're just sort of marching through town looking for the gaudiest house you can find.
Has Arena or Ileana? Arena. Has she never been here before?
No.
Why are we bringing her here?
Her brother felt like this.
Her brother felt like a
this
dude
might be a place of
here. Might be a place.
It's a safe
place
haven.
of safety.
Got you. Okay.
It might be a place of safety.
Does there look like there's anyone nearby that Bert could ask where the mayor is?
Things are pretty quiet. There's not really anybody on the streets per se because it's pretty late. You had to convince the guards to even let you in.
Where's the brightest part of town? That's where I'm looking.
There is sort of town. Yeah, there is sort of a town center. If you're looking for like the brightest thing that you can see, in the distance, you see sort of in the center of town a building with lights on and smoke billowing forth from a chimney. You're sort of here at the stockyard. This is the stockyard that you were looking at to your immediate south. In terms of sort of gaudy houses, I
see my main candidate right now already, and then a second candidate. But I mean, I don't think Wet Rock has the same view that I do. So the town center? Can you hit that? Like, where's the light coming from?
Right here.
Yep.
This time of night.
All right.
Sort of in town center.
How do I show up?
Is that where you just sort of are headed, walking that way?
There we go. I want to. Can we? Walk towards that, but I want to look at this place. If you can see that circle.
Yeah. Walking over here towards this large house there.
Yeah.
All right. You walk that direction.
A roll perception or
I'll tell you what you see.
okay.
Just a minute. Okay. As you walk that way, you see a main village square, sort of over here, which looks like sort of the main village square. It's kind of away from where the more lit up building is. There are shops and homes enclosing the town square. The big building that you saw there, that you sort of like saw in the distance, is actually a provisions shop that is closed. It like offers traveling gear and, like general store supplies, food, that sort of thing. The town square is decorated with what look like limp, tattered garlands and painted boxes, wooden boxes filled with tiny dead flowers. At the north end of the square stands a row of stocks, locked in which are several men, women, and there are children locked in the stocks there.
Oh.
And they are all wearing plaster
Can we
donkey
turn
heads.
down the birds a little?
Plaster donkey heads.
Plaster donkey heads. They are wearing plaster donkey heads. In the center of the square, the few people that are sort of around eye you very suspiciously. Standing at the center is a fountain with a gray statue of an impressive man that's facing to the west. And there are signs posted all around the town. And they all say, "Come one, come all, to the greatest celebration of the year, the Wolf's Head Jamboree. Attendants and children required. Pikes will be provided." And then it says, "All will be well. The Baron."
What? The Baron? Who's the Baron and where's the Burgermeister?
The arena sort of says, sort of looks forward, looks at the signs, and she says,
What kind of party requires attendance? I guess all of them, but usually it's, not so.
Yeah,
you don't have to
exactly.
too much.
She says, Baron Vargas Valakovich, Burgomaster of Valaki.
One and the same then.
And she nods.
Awesome. Nice guy?
I know him not.
Question mark? That was a question.
She doesn't know.
You like living here?
She doesn't live here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
No. Are you
just came
asking
here
her,
for
would
the
you
party?
like to? Were you asking her, want to live here, next to the stocks with the children?
No.
Children in the stocks with the donkey heads.
I meant like in this enclosed, city, the fortified town that we're in. Is it nice to live here?
Who are you asking?
The woman that we met. Oh, did we not? Who am I talking to?
Irina, who's traveling with you.
Oh, gotcha.
She is
Never
a
mind.
woman you met, so that wasn't an inaccurate
Yeah,
statement.
that was an understandable. Yeah.
I walked away for a minute and I came back and I thought I'll just use context clues to get me back up to speed. My bad. I didn't know I forgot that I started to question Elena before I left and that we were still doing that when I came back. This is this will be a fun diversion to
Bert Beasley
figure out.
really
John.
feels like he's getting kind of tired. He's an old man, and he would like to look for the inn, which might be that large building with the chimneys.
Oh no, we're not going to sleep in an inn. We're going to sleep in the church.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Okay,
haven't
I'm
had
gonna
great luck
find-
in churches before. We
I
had
thought
that-
that was understood.
I hear this
The only
one's a
safe
lot
place
better.
that we can find, period.
I mean,
And back mode guys gets us in most places, so we definitely need to go to the church, not an inn.
do you know where a church is?
Just follow your nose.
The arena says, I have heard of the Church of St. Andrew.
Oh, I like the sound of that. That sounds like a place with someone who could really help me out.
Okay. Is that where you're headed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You wander through the center of town, and eventually you come across you pass by a place that is called the Blue Water Inn. As you pass by, it is that building with the smoke and light coming out of it that you saw in the distance. And you see some people that are living revelry and living it up and sort of, having drinks and things in the inn.
Are any of them wearing wolf heads?
No.
Okay.
There don't appear to be anyone wearing heads of wolves in the inn there.
No pikes either, hopefully.
No. Across from the inn, you see an interesting shop that catches your eye as you're passing through, and it is a toy shop. And it says on the outside has a large sign shaped like a rocking horse with a bee engraved on both sides of it. And
buzzing
on
bee
like a bee, like the letter B.
Gotcha.
And on the sign it says, "Is no fun, is no Blinsky." And you can see what looks like stuffed dolls and things like that through the windows of this closed toy shop as it is late. In the distance, you can see, from where you're standing now, you do, on the opposite side of town, see a chapel or a church. There are lights on at the church in the distance.
All right. I am striding towards the church.
Bergamo just takes off full tilt towards church.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is everybody following Bergamo?
Oh yeah,
I'll follow.
I'm not letting her go anywhere, really. I'm worried about her.
Make it all the way across to the opposite side of town. And you see a slouching, centuries-old stone church that has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked, stained glass windows depicting pious saints. A fence of wrought iron encloses a garden of gravestones next to the church, and a thin mist creeps among the graves.
All this mist. Can't see shit.
I know. I tried to do something about it, and it just sticks around.
Bergamo banging on the door. What are you doing?
I knock politely.
You knock politely, and as you knock politely, a young boy wearing what looks like altar boy's clothing slowly opens the door and looks at you and doesn't say anything.
Hello. I've been sent by the gods on a holy quest, and I need the assistance of your church. May I speak to the man or woman in charge?
And he turns around and yells, "Father! Father!" and opens the door for you.
All right, let's go in.
Okay.
Does he just look, does he look healthy? I mean, is he...
The boy?
Yeah, the boy.
Seems to be.
Okay.
As you can tell. You enter the church. I'll need to put your characters here. Just a moment. Didn't know you were going to come this way.
I'll see that sad boy that we saw earlier. I'll know your line.
that was the boy that I was making for this, but I haven't had time to finish making him. I didn't even get that. I didn't even get that far. But yes, that is the boy. That is in fact the boy.
They mature quickly in this.
I
this
didn't
part of the
expect you
world.
to come this way. Yeah, I see you.
In fact, let me upload him to Dropbox real fast now. And that way I can have him appear. Okay. You all enter the church. An old man is tending what looks like an altar and working. And the young boy runs over and grabs him. And he comes up to you all and introduces himself. He says, I am Father Lucian Petrovich. Welcome to St. Andros. I am pleased to see you all. And then he says, Yeska said you were on Holy Quest. How may we serve you?
Well, there's a fiendish woman who's making pies out of children, and I heroically tried to rescue a child. And ever since then, she has been haunting me in my dreams. And when I wake up, I feel worse than I did the day before. My holy powers are not refreshed. And I know that she's in the windmill outside of town. All I need is one good night's sleep so I can rid the land of this evil.
He
And I was
says,
hoping you could help me.
we are but poor peoples. I do not have means to fight battles, but if you wish to stay here in the chapel, then we can provide respite for you, perhaps. And roll me perception, Bagamo. Oh, look who I'm getting to appear onto the screen here. Give it uploading.
Oof. She is
Hang
very.
on, I
She's
have
very tired.
inspiration, which I'm going to use to do that again.
You have disadvantage on all checks.
Oh no.
What did you roll?
Perception.
Sorry, roll 20. Roll 20 crashed for me. I can't see what you rolled.
But if I have disadvantage, and I'll just keep my inspiration for later. I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5. Okay. Everybody else that's standing around, roll insight. Why is this not uploading? Okay. Urgoth and Bert Beasley, you pick up on this. The father seems a bit nervous, which maybe strikes you as slightly unusual. When he offers you freedom to stay, you're not sure about that.
Is he sweating?
Just seems nervous.
Now, this is a Bathilda Bagshot situation.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't be nervous? Strangers show up at midnight. Maybe that's.
Yeah, he seems
Father,
nervous.
I'm afraid
All right,
I need a little more.
Your stone cold logic has appealed to me once again, Gork. Or Bert.
Bert Beasley of Gork and Sons.
Father, I need a little more than just a room to sleep in.
For a while.
And he says, you are welcome to stay, my child. You say you're of holy warrior. Is this true?
Yes.
I fear something terrible has happened that it may concern you in your stay here. The church here, there has been a terrible theft. Our most holy relic that was unknown, but a very few, has recently been stolen. The bones of Saint Andro himself. He pulls you over to the side and says this sort of all quietly to you. The bones of Saint, and I guess to Bert Beasley too, because you sort of indicated that you were a holy man, did you?
Yes, Bert Beasley is he is a holy man, in a manner of speaking.
Soul man.
And he says, the bones of Saint Andro himself, they have gone missing. Stolen. I fear that the protection that the church can offer without its most holy of relics, I worry about our ability to provide the protections.
These are necessary for sleep. Is there no holy way to
No,
let
I mean,
someone have a good night's sleep?
No, I mean, you all may stay, but the relics here provide some measure of protection.
Well, I'll stay up and protect. Don't worry about that.
How's your magic feeling, Father? You got any spells you've been keeping in your back pocket?
Oh no, I am but a simple priest. I do not dabble in the arts of magics.
No healing word, no soft slumber.
No. He says, I hoped that you on Holy Quest would be able to potentially recover or help recover the bones of Saint Andro, our most holy relic of the church.
We saw some bones getting ground up in the windmill right outside of town.
He says, I asked, the only one I know that was told of the only one I know that also knew that the bones even existed was Yeska, the altar boy. He says, I asked him if he told anyone else about the bones.
What do you know about shapeshifters?
He nodded yes, but would not tell me who.
Okay, Father, I'll make you a deal.
He says, I suspect, though, Milosh, he is our grave digger. I have been reluctant to confront him, though, because the lad is quite temperamental.
He stank? Need a shower?
Listen, please. I do not wish this to get out. I fear that the report of the theft might cause distress or ruin the Baron's festival. I don't want anyone to know. I do not need the congregation will be here soon for night worship.
When is the festival?
He says, it is. And he says, we have. The Baron believes that if happiness reigns through Vallaki, then we will be protected. He is always planning new festival, one after the other. Each week is another. One follows the next.
Who are we killing? Are they still killing? Putting heads on books?
He says last week it was the Festival of the Wolves. This week he is planning a festival to the burning sun.
What effigies await for this celebration?
I think he intends to create a giant sun of sticks and wicker and light it aflame in the town square for all the denizens to celebrate.
That sounds
Mi-
fun, like a bonfire.
Many are many grow weary of the festivals one week after the next, celebrating things that to many people seem less hopeful.
What are we celebrating? Just his existence, or what?
I think that is the Baron's feeling. Is
Okay,
that
Father. We'll keep an eye out for the bones, and I will make a very generous donation to your church if you can do one thing for me tonight.
what may I do for you, my child?
I need you to stay up all night, and if I start looking at having bad dreams, you gotta wake me up. Maybe say a prayer.
I will do what I can, I suppose.
Wet Rock
And
is gonna not let this happen without his supervision too. So
he says, won't you join us for services?
That sounds great. It'll clear my mind.
At night, the night service begins to start to proceed. Multiple people start to file into the chapel. What is going on here?
indeed.
With Roll20, it's not acting right. Something is very wrong with Roll20.
Maybe it's haunted.
It's acting haunted. I don't know what's going on. It told me I don't have access to the compendium.
Well, maybe you haven't earned it.
Well, I definitely earned it because it's purchased.
Oh. Well.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Father.
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Hang on. He's definitely there. You do not have access to this compendium. Yeah, Roll20 is having a conniption.
Perhaps you need to update Google Chrome.
Okay. Multiple people start to file into the church. In fact, you see, there are 14 adults and 6 children that all file into the church. And Father Lucian offers his nightly congregation prayers and promise of St. Andrew's protection. There is one woman in the congregation that appears especially tearful and sad and broken down. And when praise songs are sort of raised, she just sort of weeps in the corner quietly in prayer. And she sort of stands out compared to the others. And I would put her on the screen, but Roll20 is not allowing me to edit anything now, so you just gonna have to imagine. You all are in pews and participating in the nightly congregation. The father told you about St. Andrew's bones being missing, and that was the relic that provided protection in the church. The father says he'll allow you to sleep here.
Here on the pew?
Yeah, somewhere. And what do you guys do? Anything?
Well, Wet Rock is not much of a religious type. He does wield magic and holds some respect for a higher power that he doesn't understand, but not super churchy, but he understands people that are. I think, that woman that was crying probably caught his eye. And maybe while his head is bowed, he doesn't have his eyes closed, and he's trying to find this woman that's crying.
Yeah. So do you approach her, talk to her, or nay?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think if I find her, then I'm gonna go up to her.
Yeah.
Tell me more about her as I'm approaching.
She's sort of an elderly woman. She's very sad. She's a member of the flock. You just noticed, I just was pointing out, you noticed she was not participating. She was mostly crying and praying the entire time, which stood out to you compared to the rest of the flock. It's just something you noticed during the service that the father invited you to. You don't have to engage in it at all. This is not a hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, go engage. This is just a...
No, I know. I think I just kind of...
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up soon.
Okay. I'm just going to go over there and ask her if she minds if I sit down next to her.
Okay. Yeah, you sit down next to her, and she looks at you and says, "You are not from here."
No, I'm from far away from here. What's here like?
She says, "Be careful. I pray for my son, Udo."
Udo?
Udo Lukovic.
I'll say a prayer for him too.
He is imprisoned.
I'm sorry.
He spoke out against the burgomaster, and now he is locked. Now he is locked away, and I've seen him not since. I pray for his release and safety.
Is that unusual here, or?
Anyone who speaks out is locked away, or locked in stocks.
Then I'll say
forced each week to attend ridiculous celebrations in the name of happiness. This is no life. This is slavery.
Do you like whiskey?
She grabs the bottle off of your belt and just takes a big drink out of it. Just snatches it and chugs it.
And I pat her on the back and I say, "My prayers will be for your son and his compatriots tonight. Perhaps I'll find you around town as we plan to stay here for a while."
Okay. The congregation abates itself, and a young man enters as the night wraps up. He is a brawny young man that is carrying a shovel and sort of looks around, looks at you all, and makes his way into a bedroom. The father says, "Milosh, the church gravedigger boy, he is a temperamental sort. I will watch over you, my child, and you are all allowed to take rest in the church."
Wet Rock is going to abstain from this rest and keep an eye on Bagmo while she's undergoing this thing with this local priest, because he doesn't trust anything and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. But
all right. And we'll wrap it here for the evening as y'all are preparing to try to sleep in the church. You've asked the priest to watch over you. I'm sorry we didn't get much combat or anything done. You guys dealt with the environment and dealt with roleplay and stuff like that. So
I think we had a combat of character, and that is perhaps the most delicious combat of all.